Hey guys, I, I got a lot to say. I have a little bit more that I want to talk about when it comes to the brand risk promotions event that happened last Friday with Adam 22 taking on Jason Luv, and this is all centered around Lena the Plug, who happens to be Adam 22's wife, and the drama that this weird, bizarre love triangle that's going on between these guys. This is I don't need you could call it boxing. I mean, this is boxing influencer kind of stuff, but these aren't really boxers, right? These are adult performers, people who built a name on being on social media and doing some really stupid crap. But anyhow, Aiden Ross gave him a platform via brand risk promotions, and guys, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama to uncover. I want to kind of get to this, guys. Look, obviously it was a boxing match. There was a lot of other fights on that card. It was good. There was some good fights, guys. There was some decent fights on the card. But the main event obviously was a huge, disastrous, embarrassing moment, I would say, for Adam 22. It's a really weird time, right? You have like this internet culture, and then you've got everyone really plugged into their phones like 24/7 now. They're constantly on social media. They're reading. They're privy to a lot of different stuff that's being posted, and then you get this. You every now and then you get these really interesting storylines that kind of come out of the woodwork, and then Aiden Ross just kind of capitalized on it. He's like, you know what, this is a really bizarre story. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these two guys together because clearly they've been beefing for many years now, and we're going to put an end to this. We're going to give an opportunity to Adam 22, all right, to take on his nemesis, Jason Thomas, aka Jason Luv, and they're going to go toe to toe in the middle of a ring, and they're going to try to settle whatever beef they have, whatever scores they have. And in the middle of all this is none other than Adam 22's wife, who happens to be the catalyst in this bizarre love triangle, Lena the Plug. So, call it a boxing match. It was definitely boxing influencer style embarrassment. It all ended within 73 seconds, and somehow Adam 22 still manages to make the headlines, guys. He did a post fight interview. It was a moment that was more than shocking, and I want to kind of get into this because I also want to talk about what his wife said that's driving the internet, like driving social media up the wall. And I mean, it's people are losing their minds over this. But welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome to Duality 7X. I'm your host, Shiraz. And yeah, I'm going to cover this boxing match, this boxing influencer fight that happened via brand risk promotions. Thanks to Aiden Ross. And let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about this. So, I mean, it's probably one of the strangest influencer fights moments that we've probably seen in quite some time. I mean, watching the Island Boys fight, that was pretty bizarre. But this takes the cake, guys, because of this weird, bizarre love triangle. And look, this fight didn't start on a outdoor basketball court in the middle of a neighborhood, or somebody went up for a layup, they got tripped up, or they got into an argument in the schoolyard, or maybe a road rage incident that led from one thing to another. No, and if you think that maybe this happened in a gym where two guys were just kind of got into an argument over something, Not a chance, guys. It didn't even happen at a gym. It didn't happen at a supermarket. And you guys can continue to think where you think this beef might have originated from, but it all started many, many years ago online. Let me bring in the characters. We've got Adam 22, also known, his real name is Adam Grand Mason, and Jason Thomas, aka Jason Luv, who's an adult performer. And they had a very long, uncomfortable, very public history with one another, and it's all centered around Adam 22's wife, Lena the Plug, and Lena, like her, and look, and the content, or shall I say, the context, the background to these guys' story. Well, you guys, if you know, then you know. All right, you guys can probably put 1 and 2 together, but you know the content is what blurred the lines between personal life, branding, and what some might call a spectacle. Absolutely bizarre beyond your wildest dreams. So, guys, what began as consensual content eventually turned into very bruised personal egos, public comments, a spat that kind of like engulfed, crossed over many different kinds of platforms on social media. There was a lot of escalating tension, and then in stepped Aiden Ross. And Aiden Ross decided to take this beef that he was privy to, that he's noticing a lot of people are starting to kind of chime in on social media, and he turned that whole mess into a main event under the Brand Risk Promotions umbrella. And look, this wasn't boxing, as I mentioned. This was a grudge match dressed up with gloves. Okay? A grudge match that involved a very bizarre, embarrassing love triangle. And honestly, guys, there are no winners in this, just losers. But to be quite frank, out of the three, one is even a bigger loser than the others. And I'll let you guess who that is. All right? So the fight in itself, if you guys watched it on Friday, I watched most of the card. And when it came time to the main event, there was a lot of theatrics, there was a lot of hype. I mean, you had Rampage Jackson sitting at the front table with with Aiden Ross. You had Dean the Great was there. Yeah, you had some notable celebrities. Teofimo Lopez, I don't know, I think he was there, or I'm not sure. But look, there was a lot of celebrity type clout that was there. A lot of influencers, and you know what? It started off like, okay, I'm getting into this. We're gonna see what's going down. Obviously, it's not like the big crowds that you would get in like a T-Mobile Arena or something along those lines. But I think the hype between these two guys was enough to pique some curiosity, and I wanted to see how these guys, lace up the gloves. Now, when I think about these guys, I mean, Adam 22 is not a small guy. This guy's 6'3". He's a very tall guy, and I believe Jason Luv, if I'm not mistaken, is I think 6'4", 6'5", something along those lines as well. He's a very tall, he's a very big guy. You'd almost call these guys kind of like light heavyweight or heavyweight fighters. So definitely their punches are going to sting a little bit if they actually throw down. Jason Luv, that's his adult stage performer name. Jason Thomas. He used to be a former U.S. Marine. This guy, I mean, obviously with his training and combative background, obviously he doesn't play. I mean, he was pressured immediately. And then right away he just landed some really clean shots, and he came at that forward pressure, and he dropped Adam 22 in probably just over a minute. In fact, he would have dropped him a lot sooner than that, but Adam kept turning his back on him. And it made it really awkward to really fight this guy because you didn't know how to fight this guy. Now, personally, if it was me and if he kept turning his back, I would have moved to the side, shuffled a little bit to the side, and I would have given him some real serious blows to the core. And I would have tried to wear him down that way, push him back out of the rings, out of the ropes, and try to move him more towards the center of the ring, and then that's where you set him up with a good combo, and then hopefully you land a nice overhand right or an uppercut and send him right down to the canvas. But that didn't happen. But I don't even think, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jason would have probably wanted that to happen, but no matter what happened, you guys saw the fight. It was over, and it was over pretty quick. Okay, so he didn't even really get to, I mean, if Jason came in there with some kind of a strategy, I'm pretty sure he didn't even follow it because he didn't really have a chance to follow it. 73 seconds, guys, that's it, right? No landed punches from Adam at all. He didn't even register a punch. You know, I watched the pre-fight. I watched the presser that happened with these guys. I don't know if it was the day before, a couple days before, I can't remember, but there was so much hype surrounding these two guys. There was a lot of words that were exchanged, and it was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing because Adam didn't even come out and throw a punch. He didn't even register a jab, for crying out loud. Nothing. Not even a missed punch. Not even a missed hook. Not even a missed jab. Nothing. All he did was go into kind of like a crouching pose where he was just trying to cover up, hoping that he wasn't going to get hit in the head, perhaps. I don't know. There was no adjustments made by him, no comebacks, no nothing. It was a complete waste of time. And you know whose time he wasted the most? Aiden Ross. He wasted his time. He took up that main event slot that could have been given to somebody else who would have probably done, well, not even probably, would have done better. Aiden Ross himself would have been able to go into the ring and put on a way better performance than Adam 22. In fact, I would almost say that Aiden Ross would have probably beat Jason Luv right then and there. I 100% believe that. So, guys, this first round knockout, I mean, that ended the whole entire storyline before it even gets started, right? So we know that. That's been established. Now, here's the post that's just shocked. Like just broke the internet. You know, after the fight, Jason Luv posted a celebratory message reposting, his adult brand Blacked, which deliberately mocked Adam 22 by referencing Lena lasting longer in adult scenes than Adam did in the ring. I mean, I knew this was going to happen. Adam losing, and the way he lost in such grand fashion, is now opening up the door to like a myriad of jokes and memes and just people poking fun at Adam left, right, and center. And this clown, Adam 22, actually thinks he has things under control and thinks that he won the ultimate prize, which was walking away with his wife. I'm not gonna go there, but I mean, honestly, he did a lot more damage to his brand, if he has a brand, than ever before. If he even has a public, like a PR, if he even has a team or anyone behind him who's kind of coaching him, helping him, getting gigs, an agent, if you want to call it that, I don't even know if they're going to be picking up the call when Adam calls. I mean, for Jason Luv to come out there and say all those things, I mean, that was cold, very cold. It was calculated, and I mean, it was absolutely ruthless. And you know what? He has every damn right to say those things because clearly, He can. He had his way with Adam 22. He had his way with Adam 22's wife. And Adam 22 couldn't even come to the rescue and hold up her honor and fight this guy. He couldn't even do that. So after the fight, Jason Luv posted a celebratory message reposting Adelbrand Blacked, and he essentially deliberately mocked his competitor Adam 22 by referencing the fact that Lena, his wife, had actually lasted a lot longer in adult scenes than Adam did in the ring. Now, just think about that for a second, guys. That was absolutely cold. It was calculated and pretty damn ruthless. All right. He didn't hold anything back. And the reason why he doesn't have to be a nice guy and sugarcoat anything, because he doesn't have to. He beat the crap out of the one guy who was trying to fight for his wife's honor and make amends and to show to the world that now enough's enough. Like, if anything, I think Adam probably did more damage to his brand by stepping into that ring, because, like, if I knew what was going to happen with Adam, and if I knew what was going to go down with him, I would have clearly advised him to not go into that ring. If he even tried, if he tried even at a very, very low level to try to fight back and still lost the fight, I would have at least given him some kind of credit. I think the people watching this would have at least said, hey, you know what? You tried. Like, kudos to you. You stepped into a ring. Clearly you fought a guy who's bigger than you, who looks more chiseled than you, who looks like he's in more shape than you. And you know what? You tried. So we're going to give you that. So congratulations to you. Thank you for coming out. Gift cards in the mail. See you later. Don't hit the door when you, like, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, people would have at least been able to understand and identify the fact that he tried. He didn't even try, guys. This is what makes it so frustrating for people, that he goes out there and he talks such a big game. For him to absolutely do nothing. So, with the hurtful comments that Jason Luv exhibited by referencing the fact that Adam's wife lasted a lot longer in the adult scenes that he filmed with her than Adam did in the ring against him, that should have hurt. That was a low blow. That was hitting below the belt. And so what does Adam do? You think he'd come out guns a-blazing, pretty mad, pretty upset. What does Adam do? What do you think he did? Well, judging by the way he came out to fight Jason Luv, which was really do nothing, that's exactly what Adam did. He did absolutely nothing. No, actually, you know what? I apologize. Adam did do something. He actually said something. Yeah. Instead of getting mad, this is how he fires back at Jason Luv. He congratulated him. And doubled down on the one narrative that he's clung on to through this entire damn saga. You know what he said? He said, I got the girl, so I'm still a winner. Like, seriously, this guy can't even buy a clue. I don't think there's enough cinder blocks that you can buy in the supermarket to smash against your forehead, because I'm just like, holy smokes, I don't know how many times I had to walk off the building and only to keep like just getting up and just shaking off the dust and just realizing to myself that, holy crap, this guy lives in an alternate universe. He lives in a parallel world where everything is just all rosy, and he seriously doesn't get it. Look, Adam 22, he understands the internet better than most people would. Okay, the guy spends a lot of his time on podcasts, on social media, on the internet. So he knows a thing or two, all right? He's not a dummy, and he knows how to navigate through that world. So losing control of the narrative would have been essentially, right? But by him embracing the joke, owning the loss, and completely reframing the story around loyalty and marriage. I mean, Adam, like seriously, I don't know how Adam was able to flip this brutal knockout into a brand safe moment, because clearly that's not how I saw it. So whether people buy it or not, I mean, that's entirely different conversation all to itself. Some people say it was fake. Some people say it was rigged. I mean, honestly, I just saw one guy who just didn't know how to defend himself, didn't even know how to fight. And so now the question comes down to, should Adam fight again? He was asked publicly, if that's even an option for him. And I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't think he's ready. I don't think he can fight. I don't think he should ever actually even get into the ring. I think that's a terrible idea. All right. It was a terrible idea. And look, this wasn't bad luck. This was a complete physical mismatch. And influencer boxing doesn't forgive repeat losses, guys. To be honest, like I don't even know if it was a physical mismatch. I mean, it was a physical mismatch, but it was also a mismatch on many other proportions, on many other levels as well. I mean, I think Adam should have even stuck to maybe just a game of chess or checkers rather than lacing up the gloves and wasting everybody's time getting into a ring. Sometimes the smartest move is knowing when the story is already over. Sometimes that's the smartest move. But with Adam, I don't know. This guy, he doesn't even understand what's going on. But Jason Luv, on the other hand, he's very much interested in running it back. There's already talk, there's already discussion circulating about a possible match with Johnny Sins, who's another figure connected to this bizarre triangle, and another figure connected to Adam 22's wife, Lena. Yes, guys, I'm not joking. I mean, if it gets any worse, it does get worse. Now, if you're talking about a love triangle, add one more point to that. Now you got a square, and now you got Johnny Sins. Throw him into the mix. Just another dude who happened to be with Adam 22's wife. That fight happens. It's not going to be about skill. Honestly, it's going to be another spectacle event. And really, I guess that's what boxing influencer events are turning into. I guess that's what really shapes this entire, type of sport, type of event. I mean, and this is what it represents, I guess, right? I mean, look, it wasn't boxing. It wasn't even revenge. This was the internet turning personal boundaries and beef with one another into content and selling it, marketing it, and packaging it as a main event show. And guess what? It worked. For better, for worse. I mean, people watched it. I watched it. Enough that this is the second video that I'm doing. So, yes, Lena is very much part of this whole deal. And the question's really going to come down to is, what is Lena going to do? Because if Jason Luv fights Johnny Sins, is Lena going to be part of this event? Is she going to be there? Because if Lena, I don't see this fight happening without the presence of Lena in some capacity. So already Adam's a loser because he's not going to be able to keep his wife away from the scene. I think this is just the beginning, guys. And everything that Adam is holding on to with his dear life, I think is just going to start to unravel right before his eyes. I think he made a big mistake trying to challenge the one guy who really turned his world upside down, all thanks to Adam himself. Anyways, guys, I'm sure there's a lot more to come, but if you enjoyed this breakdown, please smash a like and subscribe and turn on the notifications so you guys never miss a beat for everything that we're trying to cover here. I mean, this fight world doesn't want to say it out loud, but I will. and that's why I'm here. So drop your thoughts and comments in below. Was Adam 22 smart for owning the loss, or did this whole thing go way too far? And yeah, I do you think he's even going to come back and fight again? Anyways, guys, thank you guys for sticking around. I look forward to catching you guys on the next video.